tragedy has struck.
Well guys, what's up? Thank you for clicking on the video. So have you ever gone on a cross-country trip and we're super excited?
It's been a while.
All the possibilities were ahead. And then all of a sudden, everything just went bad.
Day 3 at this point at the truck stop. A very unique opportunity stems from incidents like this. I was leaving that guy's property, and as you can see, I had to buy a whole motorhome so that I could leave. Maybe I was tired, maybe the pole was brown like the trees in the side view, but either way, I wrecked the Viper.
Well, that's what happened back in March, and that's what this story is about.
I always wanted to build fast cars, so self-taught I started with engine swaps, composites in my apartment to multiple shops, tuning, fabrication, and more. 10 years later, the big time, SEMA, Speed TV, I climbed from nothing, but I lost it all. This is my new ride, KnightDriveTV. Failure is not an option. Us car guys keep banging the gears of life.
Well, we are headed out at 6 a.m. leaving Las Vegas. We moved out here, and I think it was a great move and a great thing that we did, because you have to experience life, and you can't say what would have happened, what could have happened, what should have happened. Inevitably, just don't know, and sometimes you just have to believe that your path is your path. So things have changed in Vegas, and I don't know, I've just looked at the cost, I've looked at the realities of staying out here and where I think this area is going, and I don't know, I don't think it fits me anymore. And at least as much as she has a place here, has good clientele and good success, we know that we can have that success somewhere else. Let me point out that I'm pretty pumped up about where I'm going to be stopped, because it's been a while, and man, me and Waffle House go way back. I am making it all the way to Amarillo, Texas from Las Vegas. A pretty good 14.5-hour stint or so, but the goal at the end of this little rainbow is Waffle House. So, oh man, I'm going to spend the next 3 hours thinking about what I'm going to get into Waffle House. But I know I am getting some scattered, smothered, chunked, and peppered. That's for sure. Well, it is the next day. We stopped in Amarillo, and for the morning, look at that. I'm at one of the, oh man, this is one of my favorite places. This is a beast. I've had a casualty. One little tiny screw that held this up has come out. God, did I speak too soon? No windshield washers. They got so many damn gas pumps they can't have windshield. Oh my gosh. I can't see literally anything. Only reason to go into here is to get me some brekkie. Oh yeah, they got a lot of stuff. Because they are smoking meat up in this. Oh my God, there's just so much stuff. What am I gonna do? Oh, brisket taco, come on. Alrighty, so we're in Arkansas, and man, I've really been getting beat up by this wind, crosswind across the road. My God, it's just very hard to relax, you know what I mean? It's taking a toll on my back and everything. So I stopped and picked up some new headlight bulbs, hoping that we get a little better headlights, because last night I could not see at all. I had to drive with high beams on quite a bit. So that's been interesting, but the trip continues. The car gets some interesting attention back there. I mean, I guess, people never really see these cars, and that's really, I think that's all it's really appealing about them, is you just don't see them, so it makes them exotic, you know what I mean? But obviously it's just a vet to me, but I don't know. So got the OZs on,
And obviously we're gonna go see Mark Taylor. He's got the ACR front splitter and then like the ACR Extreme splitter for the Gen 5 that kind of works with the other one. So yeah, what's up, man? This trailer is awesome. Love it. It's doing very well. This guy's getting shaken down up here by the fucking police as always. So yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Just trying to get some steps in and get walking or something. It's weird to be around some green, but I guess familiar at the same time. That is actually how it feels. This greenery, grass, moisture. I really like, you know, the animals, and I think you know, just so many living creatures that can thrive off of, you know, land that's got abundance. But, you know, the desert's cool too. I think I appreciate both. Well, yep, here we are. Well, I wish I could say it was an enjoyable drive. It wasn't great. Fighting wind the whole way pretty much, and you know, RV problems, and need to get a better RV for sure. But yeah, it's we're here, we're in Atlanta, so this guy's here. Too much to deal with on a daily basis. Get in and get out, that's how I see it. Here's my brakes making all kind of noises. So yeah, I think my left wheel bearing is not very happy, I don't think. I kind of heard it when I was driving next to a concrete, like a barrier. It's a beefy wheel bearing, so hopefully it's just make a little noise, but gets me a couple thousand more miles. So
So it's at this point that things kind of took a turn. I was really hopeful about the Viper, really excited, wanted to really drive some mountain roads, go into northern Georgia, and kind of make my way to where we used to live, which was in Athens, Georgia. And I wanted to check out the area. I knew things had changed a bit since we left in 2018. And so apparently, in the past several years, there has been a huge change in the amount of gang activity, and some of you might have heard of Laken Riley. She was a UGA student in Athens, Georgia, that something happened to her. I'm not going to go into the details here, but it made national news, and I thought it was just, you know, it didn't sound like the town I was from, that we had lived in. I said, you know, that's got to be random, that's got to be, you know, something that you just don't expect for that town. It's a very safe town. So I go there, spent about a day there, was riding around on my bike and whatnot, and the Viper was attracting attention, and that's not something I'm used to in Vegas. You know, you can have an SVJ Lambo out here and nobody really cares. Athens, there's a lot of ideological stuff going on, and excess, and is looked upon a certain way, and you know, and I'm like, but it's college kids, I don't care what they think, you know what I mean? I had actually been followed by the police in Athens, which was very odd, because you know, I was living in Athens prior to that. The police were actually very non-aggressive and very kind of passive. That's what I liked about Athens. In this case, I was driving around the Viper. I was followed twice, like for a long period of time. And I was like, man, it was just taking me back to being in the Northeast. When I had cars, Corvettes, anything, it was a nightmare. So small town type of stuff, you know what I mean? And so I was already kind of alarmed by it, but I was like, you know, it's no big deal. You know, I'm kind of cruising around in something that's abnormal. You know, that wouldn't be my typical life. But I was loading the car in the trailer, and I had been bike riding throughout the day, and the car had been sitting there. Well, two kind of, we'll just call them 70s kind of built, loud muscle cars type of cars, modded. There's a crowd in the Atlanta area that just uses these types of vehicles more than others. And this case, it was like a Monte Carlo, I believe it was. Pretty loud, come pulling up next to the Viper, and I had just loaded it on the trailer. I was like finishing, and they kind of pulled up alongside, and there were some characters inside that were pretty young, kind of was looking at me, and I just got an instant real bad vibe about it, and I kind of ran up in the RV to be, well, I had something in the RV anyway, but so I went up in the RV, and they kind of pulled away pretty aggressive. Yeah, no big deal. I'm like, maybe they're just looking at it, but I had this sense that I needed to leave, and so I finished loading the trailer, strapping the car down, and I was sitting there. I actually called Josh, who you've seen on the channel in the off-road videos, and I was telling him, I said, man, I got a real bad vibe about what just happened, and I was in a good part of town where we actually used to live, and I don't know, something just didn't sit well with me, and I said, man, something weird happened. I definitely need to go. I think I'm going to go somewhere else. And as I was talking to him, I hear the loud, what sounded like this Monte Carlo, but it was louder this time. There were more vehicles. And these vehicles come up the street pretty aggressive, and I looked out the window and could see them, and I looked in the side view mirror, kind of jumped up, and I saw vehicles coming up the street, and they were carloads full of guys. And again, maybe just admirers of the Viper. I can tell you, though, they came up alongside and kind of quickly angled in front of my motorhome. I jumped in the driver's seat and started it up, and immediately started pulling forward and kind of like pushing up against very close to their vehicle. I was looking out the window to see how close I was, and they were yelling and screaming. And I just got the sense, I'm very good when it comes to feeling a bad situation. If you don't know my life, but my history makes me very perceptive to things like this. And, the time I've spent in my life has not been in good areas. So I'm pretty sure I was pretty dialed and accurate on this. So I started to pull up. Well, just then I see an Escalade with windows down and a full carload. They kind of came on an angle. Well, I pulled the motorhome forward, and then the Escalade kind of pulls out to kind of stop me, and I go around it. You're not going to stop an RV. And so I went down the road and just kind of ran the light. And, nothing beyond that happened. I didn't have it documented. And, I could sit here and even say maybe they were just all Dodge Viper fans. I don't know. I inevitably left Athens, and I knew that there was an SCCA event going on at Road Atlanta, which is about 30 minutes from Athens, and it's open to SCCA members. So I knew I could probably go there, and I have a car on the trailer. I'm like, they'll think I'm there for the event. So I went to Road Atlanta, and that's what leads me to the next spot in the story. And I wish this was it, but it was really a prelude to what was coming. And so let's go to Road Atlanta. And I had a bit of a reprieve. But the guys at the gate, I briefly kind of told them what happened, and they said, oh yeah, you don't want to live in Athens anymore. They said in the past couple years, because of the DA there and because of certain things, that things have changed. And they said they have a big gang problem. And so I was like, well, that's great. So it's kind of took it off my list as a possibility. I was thinking about it. We're not going to go there. So I'm like, my next step was really to go to Road Atlanta and kind of unwind a bit. I wanted to watch some cars and spend some time, and then head to North Carolina so that I can look at the secondary location I wanted to look at to potentially get a building and things like that, because I am thinking about going east. So that's when the next part of the story comes. And trust me, it's not just a wheel bearing. A lot more happens after this, and it's ridiculous, but off we go. Well, I'm trackside. This is the straightaway leading to turn 10A and 10B. Road Atlanta's down that way. I've moved. So this is the fastest part of the track. So I'll wake up in the morning to some crazy stuff. I just saw lightning bugs, but he was like orange. Whoa. Where'd he go? So yeah, pretty all to myself. Shame I don't have a lot of propane, but that must have been an ember. Some kind of, oh yeah, embers are coming off of the my lighter. Oh, speaking of that, I got my stove on. But, yep, that's what I'm doing. From my bedroom window, here they come. Other side of the track, you can hear them. Well, we are chilling up above Road Atlanta. Cool spot, getting water. So filling up my tanks so I can have me a nice hot shower tonight. Yeah, I love it out here. Man, I thoroughly enjoy camping at racetracks. It's like the best. I'm like, I wish I just owned this plot of land and they couldn't get rid of me. They would have to give me an easement to get to this spot. And I'd be like, I own this. My family owned this spot here. That would be freaking fantastic. Find some Indian rights, claim them. It's the best. Man, this is nice up here. Oh man, it kind of makes me think about like what it'd be like to, have a house on some rolling property like this. My gosh, man. Oh yeah. Won't have this racetrack, but maybe it could.
Just out there?
Now on to first one, qualifying time of 20. Car starting first in
Well, it is the next day. Yeah, I think it's the next day. Yeah. Tragedy has struck. That wheel bearing is not good. Started making noise actually pretty suddenly. It was not much warning. I noticed I thought I heard a noise maybe 2 days ago that sounded like a hum, a howl. And I was just I was monitoring it. But then I heard some squeaking and stuff like that, and it was degrading. So at this point, wheel bearing is not moving. I barely made it into this parking lot. I was actually really lucky to be near this travel center when it happened. I was in Mooresville, I was just kind of assessing the area, and I don't know if this means I'm meant to be in Mooresville, trying to keep me here. But yeah, so the tricky part about motorhomes is, especially 20-year-old motorhomes, is you'd be surprised that parts can get weird and hard to acquire. And, we're in an evolving situation. So the joys of trying to move. I should just stay home. So, yeah. So we'll see what happens. We don't know how this assembly is. I'm not really sure on this assembly, like how the wheel bearing is. It comes as like a pre-assembly, like you see on Tahoes or something like that, or if you actually have to take it apart and pull races off. I don't know, like a spindle. But I have a car in the back. I mean, it isn't the worst case scenario. My trailer is very important to me. The motorhome, I mean, I'll scuttle it. I think. It is day 3 at this point at the truck stop, and yeah, the RV is still broke. So clearly it's messing up my timeline a good bit, and I need to be able to get back to Las Vegas to continue work and shipping, obviously, because I weld the stops and do the relays. Kelsey can handle most things, but there are some elements of shipping that I have to be present for still, so it's getting a little concerning. I did call around a lot, talked to a lot of people, a lot of tow companies, a lot of different things to figure out what the solution here's going to be. So I was supposed to have a mobile guy that was going to come here this morning, and I booked it way yesterday. So they told me, yeah, he's going to be there in the morning. I called this morning and they said, oh, he's on a call. So I don't really, you know, you would think I would be first in line, but guess not. So yeah, I'm just sitting here vacationing in a pilot travel center. not really the time I was looking to have, but I'm in Mooresville, so I could drop the car off the trailer. I would have to leave everything sitting in the truck stop, and I mean, it probably would be fine, but I don't know. For now, I wanted to be here to kind of get this thing done, but somebody's calling, so.
Ya me estoy seguro que no se subió todo, ¿sí me entiendes?
Bearings out of here. We found bearings over at AutoZone over there, so hoping we can get this all cleared out and get down the road. The spindle was damaged, but I don't know. See what happens. So yeah, so things have evolved. We got bearings on, everything like that, but the outer race is loose, and so the hub, you cannot get these hubs anymore at all. Talk to everybody and their mother, you can't get them anymore. You have to weld in there, build it up and machine it. That's the only way at this point. He said they total these at this point for a bearing failure. So crazy to think, but that it is the facts. They said, you know, even junkyard, they're like, good luck, few and far between. So point is, the outer race is spinning probably. It's got new bearings, it's repacked, it's very stable, the wheel doesn't move, but I just don't think I'm gonna make it back to Vegas. So this is where you know, your savings gets obliterated in a way that, you know, I have a lot of strategies I can play here, and you know, it's everything from trying to rent something to tow back to Vegas, trying to buy a truck and tow that, but either way I gotta leave the RV here. It's a very complex situation. There's really no right answer. There's a bunch of theories. Do this, to don't do that, to take this here and take that there. I met a guy that has another motorhome. He seems like he might be willing to work some type of deal. He has property and he has RV hookups and everything on the property, so you know, it might be a possibility I can leave this there, sell it in the interim of me being gone, and he has one. I give him the difference, and then take that, and I guess just own another RV. It's a little different. It's diesel, so I don't know. Now I got this 18-wheeler gonna parallel park in front of me. It would be nice to get the hell out of Dodge, so I'm gonna go right now. We've got that far to go. We got to make it that far, 17 miles. So as long as we make it that far, I think it's a success, at least from a new position of you know, the ability to make a strategic play. It'll be safe somewhere on somebody's property and see what happens. Look at that. That's what I need right there. There we go. The Big Daddy. Man, I can only be so lucky. Well, we are going to some guy's house I've never met and staying on his property. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. A very unique opportunity stems from incidents like this. Look at this. Oh, they got a pet goddamn deer. Peacocks out here. Several. And a pet deer. We got a lake over here. Oh my God, this is gonna be a pretty wild time here. Here we are. This is quite a, look at this little guy. What's up, buddy? How are you? What you doing? Look at this. Hey. Well, you coming? Hanging out with Zeke and Bucky, right?
This is Kannapolis. You're in Kannapolis.
Kannapolis, North Carolina with Bucky. Yeah, this is cool. He said, Doe Earnhardt, right over there. Well, you got quite a interesting experience here. Oh man, you're a mogul. Yeah, I like deer. He's soft. He's a soft one. Oh, buddy. Hey, oh. What you doing? What you finding? What you finding, buddy? Come see, buddy. Come see, buddy. Gosh, what have you done to that? Look at that. Oh, I see what you're eating. All right, look at this. You like that? Look here. What's that? You ate it up. Hey, what's wrong with the one I gave you? Hey, get out of here, stuff now. How come you don't like that one? I saw you eat one.
Well, I thought this was the part of the story that, in hindsight, I thought it was going to be the end. You know, I'd kind of gone through about 7 days at this point. Was really pretty fatigued, to be honest with you, between managing KnightDriveTV, still taking all the customer service calls, trying to manage what I had to manage from a distance. The drive out was rough from Las Vegas to basically Georgia because there was a lot of tornado activity in March. I don't know if you guys remember, and the center of the country was just, the wind was insane. It was blowing vehicles over. It was making the news. There was tornadoes, all kind of stuff. I kind of, at this point, I didn't like the position I was in. I couldn't fix this motorhome that I had. This guy, you know, he seemed nice enough. You know, he had a nice spread. He had a pet deer. Who doesn't like a guy with a pet deer, right? You know, came off kind of harsh, kind of brash, like a Northeast type of guy. And, you know, I'm cool with that, though. You know what I mean? That's how everybody is up there. You know, a little harsh, little, you know, F this, F that. You know, it's cool though, you know, so I'm fine with it. And he's got this motorhome, and I think, well, you know, it's not ideal. It's not really the motorhome I would have bought. But I wanted to just get back home, and I think this is the part where my complacency over time, my trust in people that I've tried to continue to have. I used to live with just a skepticism of everything and everyone, and you know, I had business partners. I've had crazy stuff happen to me that nobody knows on the channel. That I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I've just tried to push through that all the time. I try to believe in people at their face value. And you know, he said, you can leave your RV here. It'll be fine. It's no big deal. This RV is great. No problems with it. It's an 08. He told me it's got 50,000 miles on it. It's great. And he even, you know, he gave me this crazy test drive.
A little test drive. We got, what's your name again?
Sean.
Sean. We got Sean doing about 75 miles per hour down the road here.
Doing 50.
Trying to fool me on this air conditioning coming out this dash.
It's freezing.
He said it's freezing.
Shut the windows.
It's about, I mean, it's got a slight chill to it, but it's very light.
I'm telling you, this motorhome has no miles on it for this year.
Yeah.
For an 08.
So on the test drive, you know, he's whipping and speeding this thing around, and I'm like, well, it runs good. You know, he's pedal to the floor all the time. I found out later why. But yeah, so we do this test drive, and he takes me to this guy, says he owns this race shop, you know, and he builds, you know, tube chassis and all this stuff. He's a guy like, you know, I would be, and you know, like I've been many times in life, and lo and behold, the guy lives like outside his shop in like a motorhome.
Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and confirm that we're over here in the NASCAR country, and some wild stuff's going on. This guy is in this camper over here, apparently. Oh boy. Sometimes, I don't know if you can see me or not, but sometimes I really get myself into things, and this is going to be one of those times. So, next day, I go to the bank. He's not negotiable on the thing at all. He's pretty hard, firm on the price. You know, I saw some things I didn't like about it. I ordinarily wouldn't have bought it. I would have probably passed, but again, I feel like I just wanted to leave, and you know, he's firm on the price, say fine. So we go to the bank, we hang out a bit, and everything's, you know, overall fine until I start moving everything. Well, now the process has evolved. So I have somebody set up to fix this, but I have bought this over here. So I'm gonna do a transfer of all my stuff. Oh boy. Especially in this scenario. This is a weird scenario to where a fix is not readily possible. So this is the situation as it's presented itself. I've debated this radical move. It feels radical. I just gotta hope I get lucky and that this one that I've acquired for the price that I think is reasonable for the most part, not perfect for the money, obviously. We'll see. You're gonna find out. So I'm moving all this stuff. I transfer everything out of my motorhome into this one, and we're starting to get it squared away. And the more I'm looking at things and the more I go around it, as he kind of like, you know, brought me through this thing real quick and stuff like that. And I guess part of it's my fault. You know, I wanted to leave, I wanted to be done, but I'm seeing a lot more, and it's bugging me a little bit. And I'm like, you know, telling myself, I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna lose on this deal one way or another. You know, the whole situation isn't good. And I'm just like, you know, I just want to get out of here, and that's really where my mind went. And I asked him, hey, can you give me the title? You know, can we just see this title? And you know, he fast-paced everything, earned my trust, you know, type of situation. So he gives me the title, and I'm like, yeah, buddy, this is like an 05, and you know, you said it was an 08. And he said, oh, you know, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. They all cost the same. It's all the same. You know, I'm like, I've had a lot of cars. I've done a lot of, I've brokered vehicles in my life. I'm like, no. So he walks away, and we continue to move everything. And I'm just thinking in my mind, and you know, there's really no angle. I'm kind of vulnerable. The guy's going to hold my RV. He kind of swapped this deal on me. So at the moment, I was like, you know what? I'm just, you know, it is what it is. I'm just going to go. So I get all my stuff, and off I go. I'm coming to you from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and things have changed. Things have evolved, and let me show you. We were loading the trailer. They put the trailer on. They said, hey, you can go get the Viper. Now we put the Viper inside of a garage. I guess we just, you know, it was nice. Put it in the garage. And he said, hey, go grab the Viper and come out. So I grabbed the Viper. Never been in that garage before, and maybe I was tired, maybe the pole was brown like the trees in the side view, but either way, I wrecked the Viper. So you can see here, now it's low light, so you can't really see how bad it is, but in the daytime, I assure you, it's not, oh yeah, I mean, it really doesn't look bad on camera, but this is all caved in here. This is all destroyed. This is all messed up. So I did let them put my trailer on, and I should have checked it, and nothing against them, I mean, but I guess, you know, with the hitch and how low it was, I don't know what happened. I'll just say, let's just get to the point, is it ripped all my trailer wiring off. So yeah, so I'm rewiring it with some ghetto ass tools that I got at the Loves here. Well, after a lot of drama, we are actively heading west. I'm in Alabama right now. Definitely had some problems, as you've seen with the RV here. None of them have really stopped me from moving forward, which overall is fine. Found things that I'm, you know, not super happy about, but for the most part, the only real thing that's hanging me up is the trailer wiring and the visibility at night. So I did stop at a Tractor Supply, got a multimeter so I could do some continuity testing, and really, you know, using just a little light, a little voltage tester, it's not enough to really troubleshoot efficiently. So I have to really work hard to undo all this. I have to get rid of this motorhome.
I have to get rid of my other one. Just got to get rid of it all and try and recoup the losses here. Some leaks out the back. I did fix the trailer lights enough last night to get function for the running lights. So we do have operational running lights. So I can, luckily I did it just in time because we're looking at a bunch of fog. There's the Mississippi River. Can't see much of it. Hoping we can get there. I got probably 26-hour drive time from where I'm at right now. The Viper on an open trailer, huge issue you would not think, but they'll be sitting there and there'll be like a tractor trailer on the shoulder, and I want to move over one lane and obviously not blow them over with this high profile coming down the road, and people were sitting next to the trailer. So the open trailer is not good if you're carrying something on it that people like find, you know, amusing. It has been eventful. I was driving and there was a tire in the road and I saw a car dodge it behind me, spun around, ended up under like an 18-wheeler, got ran over. And now we got this over here. This guy done wrecked his stuff up. He's counter steering, So I am approaching San Antonio. It is the never-ending trip for me. Some of this like lane management during all this construction in Texas has been the worst because they don't mark the lines very well. So it's been kind of tough. Once the sun glares in a certain direction, you really have very little reference. So it's pretty tough drive. I am tired. This right wheel over here is making a lot of noise. No dash AC. It's 90 degrees and 65% humidity here, and I'm burning up, so I have to run the generator, run the roof ACs. So I'm burning diesel, burning propane, burning. It's now the next day. Just woken up. That squealing out back, I'm pretty sure is the alternator. So I was hearing squeaking. The voltage was dropping way down. We were getting voltage warnings that we're gonna have some issues power wise. So it's a bad situation. I mean, you know, I got really forced into, you know, getting something I knew better than to get. But I was just, you know, I just wanted to get my trailer and the car and all my stuff back. And time was weighing on me because, you know, I have the business to run and I have a lot of things that need to get shipped, and I just, you know, just made a mistake, you know, and I understand why. I just should have walked away and moved on and bought something else and didn't, and now I'm gonna eat it. So that's it. So we got an active code. I just cleared them. Active engine code. Some type of erratic interference or incorrect data. So this is an issue with the exhaust gas pressure sensor. We got voltage problems. Yeah. Keep going. Well, we ended up having to stop. The wind was profound, leaning over the motorhome quite a bit, was making it really dangerous. And despite wanting to get home, you know, in the pilot world they call it get home-itis or whatever, leads you into a bad situation, despite the fact you just want to get home. And so same here, just want to get home, want to get back to business and back on track, but it's just not worth pushing. So it's cleared up. It's still sustained wind from in here. It doesn't look too bad, but I'd say it's about 30 sustained, and but it's less gusty. It feels a lot more calm, and all the dust is cleared. So I'm really hoping we have a good trip from here. I have 12 freaking hours left plus. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's gotten very bad. We're in the middle of dust storm of some sort. I will say getting behind a truck, allowing them to penetrate through a lot of it, even though you're in their turbulence, it's much more manageable. It's gotten very eerie and weird. There's like a storm of rain and dust and extremely high winds. I picked this guy. Yeah, there's definitely some system over here. The contrast of this camera is a lot better than what it looks like to me. Everything's kind of blended. Still very, very funky looking. The wind feels like it's a little less, I think, more manageable. Just trying to get the final day of travel, which is tomorrow, down to the least amount of time possible and the least amount of probability of being in these types of conditions again. So, yeah. It's been fortunate today. I will say it's the 4th day of driving since I left with this motorhome. And I don't know, just been really assessing everything and how I'm going to approach travel in the future and how I want to do it to avoid, you know, a lot of the things that happened on this trip, and thinking about the Viper. And really, I've looked at it quite a bit. I mean, there's a lot of damage if you look at it, but you know, it's like I've painted cars, I've fixed a lot of, you know, done body work, like I've massaged, you know, plastic bumpers, and you know, I've done all that kind of stuff, and I look at it and I'm like, I think, you know, I won't get it back. Obviously it is damaged. I may have to do paint work on it, but I have looked at it. I'm like, with some heat and with some wet sanding and, you know, some careful you know, procedures, maybe I can kind of get it back to decent, you know what I mean, to where it's minimally noticeable. But you know, if I took it to a body shop, I mean, it would be a lot of money. They would be taking all the car apart, painting, you know, doing it the right way, I guess you could say. But it's not to say what I'm going to do is not the right way. It's just a different way. Man, I'm just ready for this trip to be freaking over. All right, so what's the point of this whole video is what you're probably wondering. Some people get so mad over videos that are made free, but look, it was just a bad trip. So you're like, that's it? No, that's definitely not it. I get back, I kind of get back into the groove, catch up. That consumes 2 weeks. Another week or two goes by, puts me into late April. I go to get the title. I'm like, I got to transfer this thing. Get the title. It's not signed. So again, okay, my fault. Nobody's saying it's anybody's fault but my own. I contact the guy. I said, hey, you know, I've been waiting for his guy to be ready to fix my RV. I talked to him maybe twice. This guy that was so nice in person with the land and, oh, you can store your motorhome. You know, I noticed his demeanor get a little bit, you know, a little bit more shitty, I'll be honest with you. And, you know, he made some remarks and some comments, some stuff that I ain't really cool with. But, you know, are all you Las Vegas people this way? You got all these problems. I'm like, well, you didn't sign the title. I mean, it's not a problem. I mean, but it would have been nice had you signed it. It would have been nice had you said it was a damn 2005. Again, so I'm like, I feel like I'm a little short on tolerance, but I'm like, I'm not asking you for anything unreasonable. I said, I need you to sign the title. So I overnighted the title. He wanted me to forge it. I said, no. I overnight the title. I put a prepaid overnight envelope in the envelope and tell him, look, just sign it and send it back. So it's when he gets this title that things get tricky. I've paid for the RV that I have in full. His asking price on Facebook is what I paid him. Obviously, I got a receipt for that. My motorhome drove in there. It's sitting on his property. I gave him the keys. His guy's going to fix it. I trust the guy. Hey, it's fine. He said, you don't have to pay me nothing at the time of when I was there. I don't really want to overstay any welcome, but I'm like, I was getting antsy already with this guy supposed to fix it, just not showing up, not answering the phone. Seemed like a mess. I was already thinking I got to get it out of there. But I need my title. So I sent it to him. He gets it. Days go by. I'm like, where's the title? Well, I'm not going to sign it. And I'm like, well, why not? Well, because you got some tools in the motorhome that I want back. And I'm like, you know, here we go. I've been through this I've been through so many different ways of people and their BS with transactions and all this, you know, and I'm like, here we go. So what's your tools, buddy? What do you need? So
I go and look in the motorhome immediately. He's got this bin of these garbage tools. I said, why did you leave these tools in here to begin with? I emptied my entire RV. Why did you leave these in here? He says, well, I wanted to be there for you in case something happened. You know, I'm helping you out. You're not helping me out if you're not signing the title because of these Harbor Freight tools you needed so bad. Why would you give your tools and leave them in a motorhome to go all the way to Las Vegas, never mention it? Obviously, the tools were like no money, and you got your asking price. Pretty sure the tools could probably be included, being you said it was an 05, not an 08. But no, you know, he ain't going to sign the title. So fine, I box up all the stuff. We ship it all. Got proof. Ship it all to him. In the meantime, as it's being shipped, I shipped it 4-day ground. He said he needs the tools. He's losing out now. I'm like, see, this is a person who plays a bunch of games. That's what that is. So I said, look, when you get the tools, do we have any problems here? Are you going to let my RV leave? I'm going to pull the other one off your property because I don't want to deal with you anymore. So no, it's fine. Get it out of here. I just need my tools. He gets the tools. Okay, proof of delivery. I'm waiting for my title. No title. So I'm like, are you going to send the title or not? Well, I just wanted to make sure my stuff is here. I'm busy. I don't have time. So he's extending the timeline. I literally can't even register this motorhome. It's sitting here. So I call a tow company. I let him know, look, I'm just going to get the RV out of there. Your guy's not going to fix it. It's drivable. I'm going to get a tow company. They're going to show up, drive it off the property. They show up with a driver. Guess what? What do you think I'm going to say next? Motorhome don't run. So they go to start it. Yeah, it won't run. Is there a kill switch in here? Is there something I should know about? I said, there was a kill switch. I didn't flip it. I said, I left it there running ready. I don't flip the kill switch. I put it on like a trickle charger. Okay, well, the kill switch was flipped, but it still won't run. We use the boost button. It will start. When we let go, it shuts off. I said, well, obviously something's wrong. So I'm like, great. Well, now the guy says, I want it off my property now. So, of course, now it doesn't run. Coincidentally, he wants it off the property now. So we rush, heavy tow, $1,800. They tow it down to their tow company. It is off his property. They get it there. 2 weeks go by. I'm going back and forth with them. They can't even diagnose electric for anything. And I'm telling them, look, just don't worry about it. Fix the wheel bearing so I can drive it out of here, do something with it. I said, it's way early in the system. If the boost button works, obviously it's got to be early in the system. I guess it sparks a little something in their brain. They find the main fuse is pulled out. So there was one of the larger fuses, 60 amp, popped out of there. Must have just come loose, I guess. So lo and behold, my motorhome is off his property. I've got the title. He did end up sending it back. He's got his tools. Everybody's supposedly square. I go to register the motorhome. They send me a request for the odometer reading. So he showed it as 50,000 miles. I have the ad. I go into the motorhome, poking through. So Freightliner, they have kind of a generic odometer and speedometer. I'm looking through there. The numbers do not seem right. I go into the Freightliner, like an interface. I'm poking through there. The numbers on there match the numbers on the odometer. And that's because obviously the mileage is stored in the ECM, PCM, whatever you want to call it. And somebody changed it at some point. So through the Carfax, this thing shows the last verified mileage was 43,000 something. That was 2020. Now in 2025 it says 9,300. So now the odometer's whack. So it's essentially, it is what it is, okay? And so I want to be clear, I'm not complaining, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I went out there, you take risk when you go on the road on a motorhome. Am I disappointed that people are like this? Yes. And especially a person with no hardship, no need to be this way. You know what I mean? No need to start to put strain onto the situation. That don't offer people things if this is the way that you later start to pull back for no reason. You know what I mean? So the motorhome over there is still sitting at the tow company. They still haven't fixed the wheel hub. So these are some rare, it's like a P30 chassis, but they had a weird 5-lug setup, which would be kind of strange for a vehicle that size, but those hubs are no longer made. And even the company that made them until 2013 actually would get as many as they can from the used market junkyards nationwide. And they said, we have literally leached, you know, as many as you can find. You will find one somewhere, but it won't be likely. So it actually totals the vehicle, according to the insurance companies and everything. So
I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I'll probably sell it, store it. I don't know. It's just something off my radar at this point. But that's the story. You know, why am I telling you? I just figure you guys go on a ride with me. I shoot video. It's interesting, I guess. I still have the motor home. It's not the best. I fixed it. I fixed some things on it. The EGR was bad, which is why he was pedaling it to the floor. It hesitates very bad at park throttle. So Freightliner chassis rode good. Air ride's nice. Overall was pretty good. It was a mess, but you know, make the best of it. Obviously, I'm gonna lose on the deal, but I was gonna lose on the deal anyway. No matter what I did, renting something all the way across the country, I was losing money. You know, just a bad situation. So that's it, guys. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed the video or something like that. It's not a big deal. Things happen. You navigate it. I've gone through much worse than this. So, and one last test to see who's really watching the video. I fixed this whole thing with a magic eraser and WD-40. You can still see a little bit of mark. I got to polish it out. But because it was an oil-based paint on that pole, it kind of lubricated the impact. And I really thought I was going to lose paint, but I didn't. I need to polish this, but the only real remaining damage is this here. You can see it's pushed in a bit. But otherwise, like I said, like a Corvette, panels popped back out, everything moved, everything held, so not so bad. Catch you on the next one.